Hi, everybody. My name is Lorraine Tierney from Chat and Craft with Lorraine. And usually I go live at this time on Facebook and YouTube, but I'm not able to tonight. So I made this video that I want to share with you. But if you comment, like, or share this video, you'll still be entered into a drawing to win a prize. So please pretend I'm live and pretend I'm talking to you. If you have questions, I will answer them, just not as I'm crafting. All right. So today we're going to make some torn paper cards, and we're going to use the Magical Meadow stamp set. Oh, let me switch my camera. The Magical Meadow stamp set and dies. And this is part of the Winter Meadow suite. It comes with beautiful DSP and Snowflake Magic Specialty DSP, and it's the suite we're using for our Creativity Abound Stamp Camp that's happening on October 20th and 21st in North America. It's international. It will be the 21st and 22nd in Australia and New Zealand. And it's a great opportunity to learn card making techniques, different layouts, have a lot of fun with this suite. If you order the suite from me, I will send you the cardstock and die cuts to make 13 cards, one designed by each of our designers. You will cut out your own paper from the suite and your own die cuts from the suite. But if there's a different die cut that's used, we'll provide that for you. And then on the weekend of the stamp camp, we'll treat you to 13 additional different projects that we'll make with the same bundle. So it's a lot of fun. I hope you'll think about joining, and if you have any questions, please just message me or put them in the comments and I will answer them for you. All right, let's get started. So we're going to do two different ways of cutting paper or torn paper today on the cards. So the first card, I'm going to start with a shaded spruce card base, and this is going to go landscape, and I've taken to making my landscape cards 11 by 4¼ and folding them like this, because sometimes I find when they're this way they splat a little bit and I don't like that. So I had a demonstrator teach me that years ago, and it took a long time for that to sink in, but I am going to do it that way. Then I have a piece of designer series paper, and I cut this a little bit smaller than usual because I don't want any little bits to stick out on the end. So this is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So it's 1/8 of an inch smaller than a mat size in both dimensions. And I'm going to center that on my card base and just use some liquid glue. There we go. And then usually if we have a mat on our card or a piece on our card, it's often 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit to 5 1/4 by 3. You could start with it at 4 inches, but you'd end up cutting pieces off, and we may cut a little bit more off anyway, but we'll start with this. And I'm going to rip this paper sort of in half. I want to have a little bit more on the lower half than the top half. So I'm going to start probably 1/3 of the way up. And I'm going to keep my fingers close to each other as I tear and just have 2 pieces of torn cardstock. And these 2 pieces are going to go on here like this. But that is a little bit too close for my liking, and I have a little bit more here than I need. So I'm going to trim, let me see if I'm going to trim 1/2 inch. I'm going to start with a 1/4 inch. I may end up doing another 1/4 inch, but that's easier than trying to put that 1/4 inch back on if I start with a 1/2. So I want to have a fair amount of cardstock showing. So I'm going to do that. And if it feels like it's just a little bit too matchy for you, the way, you know, that tear is, you could flip one over the other way, and that offsets it a little bit. Or you can, you know, do a little more tearing, even out some peaks that are a little bit too much, change the shape of those. You still want it to kind of have a similar shape, but it doesn't have to be exact. So I'm going to have it like that. Now we can go ahead and put this top piece on, and we're going to get it right up to the top, and it will overhang each side just a little bit. When I had the measurement the same as this top piece, this 5 1/4, I felt like a little bit of patterned paper was hanging out, and I didn't like that. Now, before we put this one on, we are going to stamp it with Happy Holidays from the Brightest Glow stamp set. And I want the designer series paper to be the star of the show. So I'm going to use Shaded Spruce ink on my Shaded Spruce paper. So it will show up, but it's not attracting the high attention. So I'm going to put this on next. You could pop this up on dimensionals if you wanted, but I have one more thing that I want to put on, and I'm going to pop that up instead. So that's going to go right there. And now there's a stamp that matches this paper. So I want to do a little bit of stamping with that. You can see, I don't know if this is holly berries. I don't know what these are, but the berries and the leaves are on one stamp. So I like to use my markers when it's like that so that I can get 2 different colors on the same stamp. And I always start with the lighter color because the second color will inevitably hit into that first color you've put on your stamps. So if the first color is lighter, it won't affect the ink. And I go over everything twice just to make sure I've got it all. The markers have a bullet tip and a brush tip, and I'm using the brush tip, and I'm using Shaded Spruce and Moody Mauve. Shaded Spruce is the same color as my cardstock, and the back of the patterned paper package tells me that that Moody Mauve is the color in there. Okay, and now I'm in the safety of my own home with nobody else around and no contagious diseases here, so I'm going to huff on my stamp just to keep that ink moist, and I'm going to stamp on a scrap of basic white. And then there's a handy dandy die that will cut this stamped image out. And I use just a little bit of Post-it note tape to hold that die in place, and I run that through my machine, and voila, I have one right here. And you can see on this one, my berries or whatever they are a little bit lighter than the other. I might be able to shade those with my marker or my blends, but I'm not confident trying that right now on camera, because if I don't like it, I'll have to stamp another one. But I will try that and let you know how it goes. That's too big a piece. I want to put another little one up on that berry of some kind. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the front here. And I forgot to bring over some shaded spruce bling. I always forget something. Oh, but I do want to put one of these same little things on the inside. It kind of ties the two of them together. So I'm going to clean it off because there's the shaded spruce on there, and I don't want to get shaded spruce in my Moody Mauve marker. So let me just clean that off. There we go. And I'll start with the Moody Mauve again. I'm going to see if I can get this to come out just a little darker. I'm not sure. And now the shaded spruce. I like the combination of shaded spruce and berry burst. I have to tell you, I've liked berry burst with just about every combination. I don't remember berry burst too much from the first time it came out. I think I was making cards then. I was not a demonstrator, but I was making cards. I just don't seem to remember it. All right, I'm going to huff on it again. And you know what? Let me just stick in the center here with a little more Moody Mauve. Okay. And I'm going to put this in the corner. There you go. And I got a little darker that time by adding a little more Moody Mauve right at the end. I love the shading that this distinctive stamp gives you. And I'm not going to put another stamp on the inside because I'm not sure. Happy Holidays could go with a lot of winter holidays, Hanukkah or Christmas, and I'm not sure how I'll use this just yet. So I'm going to leave the inside blank except for that really pretty stamp right there. So that is one card, and I will add, I have pearls right here. Let me add a few pearls. These are actually pearls that came in a kit that I recently found on my table. I cleaned off my table, and lo and behold, I found, whoops, I pulled that one off without the little sticky thing. You can give them a press first to make sure the sticky part stays on. Where do I want to put this other one? I'll put it right there. There you go. So I like that with a little bit of bling on it. So happy holidays. My light seems to be turned around. Can you see? Well, there's the stamping on it. Happy holidays. Okay. I also made that one in Moody Mauve. Which color do you like better? Do you like the Moody Mauve or do you like the shaded spruce? I'd love to know what you think. All right, so that's the first thing you can do with torn paper. And now I'm going to show you another one. And I think this has a name, and I'm drawing a complete blank at what that name of this card design would be. But we're going to go with it anyway. So this one, I have a piece of paper, a card base, I'm sorry, cut 5 1/2 5.5, I'll get it, by 8.5 and scored at 4.25 and folded in half. And then I have a piece of patterned paper that's 3 7/8 by, oh wait, that's 3 7/8, here we go, by 2 7/8. And I'm not going to put this on yet, but this is going to go roughly about here because we're going to do one of those cards where the paper is ripped back a little bit and then rolled. Here, I'll show you one. Similar to this, although this one is in landscape. And this says, "You're in my heart and prayers." And I used Pebble Path with the paper here. And I was thinking I was stamping the inside of my Pretty Peacock card, and I used Pretty Peacock instead of Pebbled Path for those, but that's okay. So I wanted to show you that this does not have to be Christmas paper. This can be any kind of card or paper. I thought this looked a little bit too plain for my liking. I'm going to try to adjust this light now. Excuse me, but I feel like you can't see what it says. Maybe that's better. A little plain. So I embossed this piece of paper with the crosshatch embossing folder. That's one of my favorites. So to do this, I'm going to rip 2 lines of paper across like this. So I want to get enough of the trees, but I don't want, I want to make sure I have paper behind where I'm going to do the trees. I think I'll go right here. And now you can go back or over as far as you want. I want to put a little circle for my sentiment someplace over there. So I'm going to stop there and I'm going to cut off some of this cardstock because it's too bulky and too fat if you have a lot of cardstock there. And I'm just going to roll this up until we get to the end, which is there. And I'm going to put a little piece of tear and tape on there because that will really hold it down, and I can push on it to flatten it out, and I don't have to worry about glue squirting out or it being too fat for the seal. I think this will fit just perfectly right there. There we go. And that will go over one more time. Okay. And that's going to look like that. And then we're going to put this under here. See, I don't want anything sticking out, so I tend to go in a little bit extra. All right, I'm going to put some glue on this. And then we're going to move things around a little bit. I'm going to put this on here, but I'm not going to press it down just yet. Okay, I want it over just a little bit more. I don't want too much of a space before that pretty paper starts. I'm going to go with that. And then this will go on like that. And that's really pretty with just that little bit peeking out. I could have gone a little bit further, but there's no right or wrong. You can play with it and go as little or as much as you would like. Okay, so that goes right there. And I'm going to put this here, and this is a die cut from the Winter Meadow set. I don't know if I might put the die cut going that way. I actually might put it so that it goes under that just a little bit. It's bothering me that it's so dark over here. Whoops, now I hit the camera. All right. So on this one, I'm going to stamp. What did I decide I was going to stamp? Hope your day is a happy one. And I'm going to have this be a birthday stamp. So I've cut out a small deckled circle die. This is a great set of dies. It's in the new catalog. You get 14 of these circles. There are so many awesome sizes. So and then we'll do a little something on the inside too, but let's put these on. I'm going to put just the smallest dots of glue I can on this little evergreen branch. I think this will be great for a winter birthday. I'm going to let it overlap just a little bit there. And we'll put this on with some dimensionals. I'm using up the edges. I sure hope you do too. I don't want to waste dimensionals. Okay. And I'm going to put that right there. I overlapped just a little bit of that fold and put that on. And I think I have some Pebbled Path bling that I can put on there. These are the in color dots, and I love the Pretty Peacock with so many of the colors. I love it with the Pebbled Path. I like it with the Wild Wheat. It's really a pretty color. So that's the front of the card. And then on the inside, I thought, let's see, it's going to go this way. Let's not get that mixed up. I can put a happy birthday sentiment in there, which I don't think I brought one over. No, so at some point I can put a happy birthday sentiment in there. But right now I'm going to use this pretty tree set. Oh, how did I do this? I'm sorry, guys. How did we get switched? I'm going to use this stamp. Sorry, I'm wondering how long you were the wrong way, and because I'm not really live, nobody could tell me and I didn't know. I'm going to put this down here. There we go. And I think that matches those trees that are in the DSP nicely. We'll put that on and we will be all done. Do you ever rip paper or make cards like this? I'd like to know, and I hope you will give these two a try. As you can see, they're pretty quick and easy, and you can dress them up just as much or as little as you'd like. So here, oh, that's not the right one. Here are the two cards we made today. Shaded Spruce and Pretty Peacock, and then here are a couple of others that I made. All right, I hope you have a great rest of your Monday night. And remember, comment, like, or share, and I will choose a winner later on in the week. All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye.